So, one of the stories that I wrote for Businessweek was about a conversation that was happening on the sidelines of the Democratic Convention among Democrats that really has not gotten any airtime at all because it's one Democrats don't want to have publicly. And it's the anxiety, especially among progressive Democrats, people like Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and AOC, about what Kamala Harris really stands for. She doesn't have a kind of clear set of policy priorities. She's made very friendly noises toward the business community, whether it's Business Roundtable or the people she surrounded herself with. And yet these progressives don't want to come out and publicly challenge her the way you would in a normal presidential election cycle because it's so late in the game and they don't want to give Donald Trump anything to attack her with.
Which kind of leaves her to her own devices here. But what does Wall Street think? Because this conventional wisdom that Donald Trump is friendlier inherently to the markets brings us to an interesting standoff here because Kamala Harris hasn't, for instance, said that she wants to tax unrealized gains or some of the other things associated with Joe Biden. So does Wall Street know what it's getting?
I don't think it does, but the sense I've had in talking to people and talking to Wall Street lobbyists and in talking to kind of pro-business Democrats is that they're really feeling good about Harris. And I think the reason for that is because she hasn't had her feet held to the flames by progressives like Elizabeth Warren. And so she's, in a sense, been able to present herself as being all things to all people. And that's a wonderful superpower if you're a politician.
Well,
I think that's one of the reasons why she's been able to unify the Democratic Party. But on the other hand, if you look at some of the things she's talked about in her economic speeches, attacking price gouging, that sort of things, these are noises that you would hear from a Sanders or a Warren and not something I think Wall Street would be super excited about. So I think she's really a big question mark for all Democrats.
That's a great point. She did a pretty long interview yesterday. I know she's getting knocked for not doing many of them at the NABJ, as I mentioned, as she really leaned on housing as the issue to appeal to not only the people in the room, but the crowd she's trying to reach on the campaign trail. That's not Wall Street, right? She's talking to consumers, people who don't feel like they have a foot in the door, literally.
Yeah, I mean, the way I think about it is that what Harris has done is present herself as a kind of middle-of-the-road populist. And what I mean by that is she's sought to address the economic concerns that a lot of people have in light of all the inflation we've seen under the Harris-Biden administration. Housing prices have skyrocketed. It's hard to buy a house. We know from polls, I know from talking to voters, people are angry about that. They're concerned. So what she's doing is trying to allay their fears. So I don't think that was a message necessarily about Wall Street. I think it was her trying to convey that I am a different politician. I'll be a different kind of president than Joe Biden. I'm going to help bring down house prices. I'm going to help you buy a house.